This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. 25,000 PCR tests are being carried out daily to identify COVID patients in the country. 10,000 new beds have been allocated to COVID patients. 1,860 COVID patients identified in the country yesterday. The Government Medical Officers Association has appreciated the decision of the President to ban using chemical fertilizer in agriculture. 64.3% of students who sat for the GCE advanced level this year have received qualifying marks for university admission. Another 112 ambulances will be added to the 1990 Suvasaria ambulance service. Dambulla Dedicated Economic Centre will be reopened for trading from today under strict health guidelines. Moving on to news overseas, COVID cases at Everest Base Camp raise fears of serious outbreak. Local news in detail now. Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi says that 25,000 PCR tests are being carried out daily to identify the COVID patients in the country. Around 40 million rupees has been spent daily in this regard. The government has initiated a strong mechanism to face the challenges of coronavirus pandemic. 10,000 new beds have been allocated to treat the coronavirus patients. The minister was speaking at the parliament yesterday. 104 ICU beds have been set aside to treat coronavirus patients, she said. Authorities are planning to allocate another 138 ICU beds for corona patients. The oxygen stock of the hospitals will be increased up to 80 tons. The minister added that the government has planned to purchase 4,000 large-size oxygen cylinders as well. 400 out of them have been received already, she added. 1,860 COVID-19 infections were identified in Sri Lanka yesterday. The Government Information Department said 1,860 individuals were identified as part of the New Year cluster, while 54 individuals who arrived in the island from overseas also contracted the virus. Yesterday also marked the second highest single-day record of coronavirus cases in the country. Accordingly, Sri Lanka's total coronavirus caseload rose to 115,590. COVID-19 recoveries increased to 99,153, with 944 individuals discharged during the past 24 hours. 15,728 individuals are currently being treated for COVID-19 at several facilities across the country, while 1,118 individuals suspected to have contracted the virus are under medical observation. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that there is no political mediation for the decisions taken by the health authorities to control the spread of coronavirus pandemic. The government takes decisions considering the facts given by the health authorities. Presidential Task Force established to combat COVID-19, district and provincial health directors have the authority to take decisions in this regard. The Government Medical Officers Association has appreciated the decision of the President to ban using chemical fertilizer in agriculture. It has said that food safety for the people is a priority concern of them. The GMOA has pointed out that institutes and departments related to food and agriculture focus only on food security, but not on food safety. Therefore, there had been multiple issues in the country related to food safety during past decades. It has proposed to introduce laws to make food production and importing companies legally accountable to provide a profile containing details of the production of food from the inception to the point of selling to the consumer. It has said that laws should be formulated to entrust final decision on food safety with the Ministry of Health. The GMOA has asked to establish a judiciary structure dedicated to food-related issues. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
Continuing with more stories here at home, a decision has been taken to reopen the Damula Dedicated Economic Centre for trading from today under strict health guidelines. The Matale District Coordinating Committee sources say that permission would be granted to temporarily open the economic centre from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. The committee met today at the Damula Divisional Secretariat and attended by state officials, police officers, representatives of traders associations, Agrarian Development Department officers, health officials, municipal council officials, government agent and other officials. The Dambulla Dedicated Economic Centre was temporarily closed on April 25th to minimize the risk of COVID-19 spreading. The closure of the economic centre had caused immense difficulties to vegetable farmers as they were unable to sell their harvests during the past period. The Consular Affairs Division of the Foreign Ministry has limited its operating hours from 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily in line with the recent guidelines issued by the health authorities. The Consular Affairs Division will prioritize its services to those in urgent, genuine need during the coming weeks, the Foreign Ministry said in a statement. The consular services, except in the cases of deaths of Sri Lankans overseas and attestation of export documents and related certificates, are provided strictly by appointment only, it said. Please contact the Consular Affairs Division on 011 233 5942, 011 233 8836 and 011 233 8812 or email consular@mfa.gov.lk to make an appointment. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Wildlife Conservation Department says that all wildlife circuit bungalows, guest houses and camping sites under the department will be temporarily closed to the public from today until further notice. The statement further said that those who have already made reservations at these facilities will be provided with necessary information in the future to make new reservations for different dates. That's on local news.
Finished? You have one more hour to write the exam.
Yes, sir. Always early.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
The results of the 2020 GCE Advanced Level Examination held in October 2020 amid a second wave of COVID-19 were released last afternoon. According to the Department of Examinations, 301,771 candidates sat for the 2020 GCE Advanced Level Examination under old and new syllabuses, and 194,297 had qualified to enter universities. Under the new syllabus, 277,625 candidates sat for the exam and 178,337 are eligible to apply for university admissions. Under the old syllabus, 24,146 candidates sat for the GCE Advanced Level Examination this year, and 15,960 of them qualified to apply for university admission. Accordingly, out of the total number of candidates who sat for the GCE advanced level examination this year, 64.3% have received qualifying marks for university admission. Issuing of results of 86 candidates has been suspended.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on What's Light, Army Commander General Shavendra Silva said a new hotline 1906 has been introduced to inform about delays of taking COVID-19 patients to hospitals. He said a family member or COVID-affected persons can call 1906 to get assistance in case they can't reach their respective MOH or public health inspector. That came to you on What's Light. Moving on to world news now. Headlines. COVID cases at Everest Base Camp raise fears of serious outbreak. In Israel, Netanyahu deadline to form government expires. Belgian farmer accidentally moves French border. World news in detail. Mountaineers and authorities at Everest Base Camp in Nepal have told the BBC they're seeing rising numbers of climbers with COVID-19 symptoms and rising numbers of positive tests, raising fears of a serious outbreak. Base camp officials said they had received reports of 17 confirmed cases from hospitals in the capital Kathmandu, where a number of climbers have been sent from the base camp and high camps to be treated. Foreign climbers are a major source of revenue for the Nepalese government, which shut Everest last year during the pandemic. The number of coronavirus cases has risen sharply in Nepal in recent weeks, and the country has the highest rate of infection among the countries neighboring India, where a second wave has sparked a full-blown crisis. A deadline for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to form a new government has expired. He had been trying for the past 28 days to build a coalition after the fourth inconclusive general election in 2 years, but the deadline ended at midnight last night. President Reuven Rivlin could now formally ask another political leader to try to assemble a coalition. But this could risk the country going to the polls once again. This will be a blow for Mr. Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving leader. But after the inconclusive result of the last general election in March, it is an outcome that was widely predicted. President Rivlin could now give another member of parliament 28 days to try to build a new government. Finally on world news, a farmer in Belgium has caused a stir after inadvertently redrawing the country's border with France. A local history enthusiast was walking in the forest when he noticed the stone marking the boundary between the two countries had moved 7.5 feet. The Belgian farmer, apparently annoyed by the stone in his tractor's path, had moved it inside the French territory. Instead of causing international uproar, the incident has been met with smiles on both sides of the border. The border between France and what is now Belgium stretches 390 miles, and it was formally established under the Treaty of Kortrijk signed in 1820 after Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo 5 years earlier. The stone dates back to 1819 when the border was first marked. And on development news, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has fully approved a proposal to add 112 new ambulances to the 1990 Subasari ambulance service, which plays a significant role in the suppression of COVID to facilitate the transportation of patients from rural areas throughout Sri Lanka and to carry out their activities without any hindrance. The President has also given approval to allocate 5,727.36 million rupees for the monthly allowance of the elders on the waiting list. Both proposals were presented by Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle, State Minister of Primary Healthcare, Epidemics and COVID Disease Control. control. 1990 Subasari Ambulance Service and the Secretariat for the Elderly are under the State Ministry of Primary Healthcare, Epidemics and COVID Disease Control. The 1990 Subasari Ambulance Service currently receives over 5,300 telephone calls a day and contributes to the hospitalization of more than 1,000 patients per day. And that's on Development News.
Sports News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Manchester City reached their first Champions League final as they overcame Paris Saint-Germain at Etihad Stadium to secure a commanding victory over 2 legs. In a game played in unseasonal snow, the brilliant Riyad Mahrez capped a sweeping move started by goalkeeper Ederson's 60-yard pass to extend their 2-1 advantage from the first leg in Paris. PSG suffered a serious blow before kick-off when world-class forward Kylian Mbappe was restricted to the bench because of injury. They did not lack endeavour or intent and had earlier hope when a penalty was awarded for a handball by Alexander Zinchenko before it was correctly overturned with Neymar subdued and City throwing bodies on the line in defence. Mauricio Pochettino's side could not find a way through. That's on Sports News.
My wife always sets a full lunch table, even if it's just the 2 of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Bill and Melinda Gates agreed how to divide their property and assets before announcing their divorce on Monday, U.S. media report. The billionaire couple, who have been married for 27 years, reportedly signed a separation contract outlining how their estate would be split. But they did not sign a prenuptial agreement before their wedding in 1994. The couple run the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has spent billions on charitable causes around the world. They have pledged to continue to work together at the foundation once their divorce is finalized.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News. Courtesy of... Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Ministry of Environment has instructed the Central Environmental Authority to take immediate legal action against 2 companies for violating the Gazette notification on the ban on polythene. The Ministry of Environment had taken steps to ban 6 types of plastic and polythene-related products for local use from the 31st of March with the aim of reducing the use of polythene and plastics. The ban on single-use and short-term use plastics include disposable polythene and plastic bottles, polyethylene terephthalate or polyvinyl chloride material for packing agrochemicals, lunch sheets less than 20 microns, sachets, and inflatable plastic toys. Although the Gazette notifications prohibits the production of sachets of less than 20 grams, one company has continued to manufacture 24-gram sachets using polythene and plastic. It is reported that another company is still carrying out the relevant production activities despite the ban. That's on Economic News.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Sabaragamu, central, western, southern, Uva and northwestern provinces during the evening or night. Fairly heavy falls, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places in Sabaragamu and central provinces and in Gaul and Matra districts. Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines. 25,000 PCR tests are being carried out daily to identify the COVID patients in the country. 10,000 new beds have been allocated to COVID patients. 1,860 COVID patients identified in the country yesterday. The Government Medical Officers Association has appreciated the decision of the President to ban using chemical fertilizer in agriculture. 64.3% of students who sat for the GCE advanced level this year have received qualifying marks for university admission. Another 112 ambulances will be added to the 1990 Suvasari ambulance service. The Amula Dedicated Economic Centre will be reopened for trading from today under strict health guidelines. News overseas: COVID cases at Everest Base Camp raise fears of serious outbreak. With that, we conclude the morning bulletin of news, and it's back to Viana this morning.